What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ranch. All right, ranchers, coming to the end of the hunting season here in New York, and wanted to share another hunting tale with you about my season. This is from Bo. This is during the rut, and I had a great encounter with a deer that kind of ended tragically. So what had happened was I was in my stand, and I was set up in the middle of a saddle area where two mountains kind of came together, and there's a pass over, and I get a lot of passing right there in front of me. It's actually where I ended up shooting my 8-pointer out of. Same stand, same setup, same trap. If you didn't see that video, I can include a link to that here. And what had happened was I was set up for this particular deer of this story. This deer was called G2, and he was called that because he had really long G2s. He was a really nice deer. I got him on a couple of different of my stand sites, particularly one where I have this mock scrape, and it's like a bench road, and I thought I would catch him there, but that mock scrape tends every year to be a scrape that's used early in the season, and for some reason, when you get towards the rut on this property, and I think it has to do a little bit with pressure from the other guys on my hunting club, the area tends to cool down a bunch. And you have to wait for like later season, or it doesn't even pan out. But in any case, I knew he was over there, and I had also had him over by this other spot in between my saddles. So that's where I was, in the saddle, in my stand. I'm in between the two mountain points, and I tend to see a lot of deer drop off the one mountain point, and there's a little bit of a swamp water area as like a pinch, and they generally pinch towards my stand, putting in between the shot 20 yards and this swamp, which is out to about 50 yards. Now, I don't shoot 50 yards, but I know they're coming out of this bedding area off the point that's kind of behind my stand, a little bit in the upper elevation level, and I don't want to get too close into it because I'm hunting essentially a buck doe bedding area. Now, I know that sounds, contradictory of each other, like are does bedding there or a buck's bedding there. Well, I see both in there. I mean, I get trail camera pictures in this spot that are not just one or two. I'm talking about full day of movement, like a parade of deer going by in and out of this area. So what I try to do is only get into this area on certain good wind days where the wind is blowing from inside that bedding area out across, like kind of in front of me at the stand, like across me. I used to hunt this stand because I thought they were bedding on the other point with the wind coming across me this way. And I have found that the deer don't move where I want them to be or at all when the wind is how I initially thought. And that's why doing some homework and observation is really good in a tree stand. So I'm in there. It is early in the morning. It's a Friday. It's the rut. We're bow hunting. The temperature has dropped. It's a cold front. I got the wind right, and I know I am in the right spot. Now, what I had done is I had groomed out a couple of trails around this swamp area, this pinch off the point. So when they would come down, they would probably take one or two of these little trails I made. And by trails, I mean I raked, I cleared it out. Maybe I hinged a little tree here or there just to try to groom them or push them in a certain little way, but nothing really like major habitat-y, just kind of like suggestions. And I did put a mock scrape right where these two little trails I made converge as they cross this like old logging road. And this is where my trap was supposed to come together. I got a lot of pictures, I had a lot of movement, and I knew I had like 3 shooter bucks that were coming through here. So I'm there, I'm for the rut, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I look and I see a doe. And I go, all right, there's a doe. She's there, she's in this bedding area, and I'm watching, and she's coming out towards me, and she hooks and stands at like 50 yards, pinched around this swamp area, comes out of the bedding area off the point, stops, and then I see big body, and the big body's kind of like meandering back and forth, so I know this is like a bigger deer, has to be a buck. Nose down, boom, 2 more doe pop out. They're standing now right where my whole plan has come together. Followed the first trail. They're standing right in front of my mock scrape. They are at 22 yards, and I am confident as all can be because I know what's going to happen. This buck who's in this bedding area zigzagging around with these does have pushed them out. They came down my trail, and they are standing where I want this buck to stand. So I know he's coming. He's going to follow that trail, and he's going to go right where I want him. My plan is perfect. For me, this is a huge win. When I put a plan in place like this and it's executed as if I controlled these deer on like a script, I feel like such a win already. So I know at worst case, the doe will take off and he will come through, but I have a feeling he's coming and he's going to bump her. He starts making his way out and I see it's G2. This is one of my 3 target bucks. I had 3 really nice target bucks this year. One was called Punch Bowl. He was a super wide 8, like you could fit a big punch bowl in between his antlers. I had the 13 pointer that was such an epic deer. I really thought I was going to get a chance to see him. He was coming by all sorts of times on this stand setup, and it turned out as it was. First day of rifle, he made a presence known too close to one of my other hunter stands, and they knocked him out. I was really happy someone got him that I knew in the hunting club, but a little bittersweet because it wasn't me. But congrats to Rocky. Deer was awesome. 13 pointer, deer of a lifetime. We're really psyched that even was on our property and was able to be hunted. So back to my story. I'm sitting there and I see G2 come out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is G2. This is perfect. And he's coming and he grunts. Now I'm going to include a little clip of the video. When you see it, and you start to see him, listen carefully. It's a little faint because I don't have a boom mic on this deer or something, but he grunts. And I'm like, yeah, I love when they're that distracted because I know you could get away with a lot now when they are that fixated, they are that rutted out that they are coming in and they're grunting. It's great. So he comes, and another thing I like to do is when they get their head behind a tree, I always like a couple of clusters of trees because that's what I'm going to draw. That's where I'm going to make my movement, and then this way they don't see me move and I'm already set. I also try to do it in a manner where I'm not going to have to hold for like 5 minutes. I mean, I could probably do it, but I optimally like to pull back and be set, and when they step out of this clusters of trees, it's shot time. And that's what I was planning for. So he goes behind my tree and I am drawing. This is my target. This is my plan. It's coming together perfect. And so I'm super calm and I'm drawing, and he's coming out and I'm halfway through my draw. And this has never happened to me before. The Lumenok on the back of my arrow pops out. Boop. I'm like, oh! I see the arrow go limp, like out of the front of my bow, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I reach around and I grab it really quickly, and I'm like, oh my God. And this deer sees that major reach around and grab for the arrow, and I look at it, I'm like, what happened? And the Lumenok is out, and I look down at the bowstring, and the Lumenok is still clipped into the string. So I have this kind of situation happening, and I'm like, and I literally take the Lumenok, boop, and I spit it off the side of my stand, take the arrow, I wedge it between my 2 legs and pinch my knees together with the arrow in. He is locked on, broadside at me, and we're playing the race game. I know, can I get another arrow loaded in? Can I shoot before he's had enough of everything he's seen? Because this is where I'm at right now. This is my target deer. I'm not letting this go. So I take out another arrow. I load it in. I clip it in. I get my release clipped on. He's just locked on me, like knows what's happening. I'm drawing. And because I practice, I shoot all the time. I'm range-finded. I'm all set. Everything is muscle memory, including my leg positioning. I have a broken arrow wedged between my legs, like pinched. So as I draw, my body takes its normal stance and I open my knees ever so slightly, and the arrow that was between my legs falls, hits the metal platform, hits the ladder once, twice, ding, 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 and hits the ground. G2 looks at his doe for a quick second going, Man, I really wanted her. Gone. And this is the end of my tale. OMG. The does stayed there, taunting me for 5 minutes. And I can't believe that this went down. So this is my hunting tale. This is a fail tale, but it was very exciting. I'm going to include the video. I might have even shown clips of it, but I'm going to probably run it again just so you could see it undisturbed and you could watch me pull this arrow back and just hear it ting, 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 ting down the whole tree stand. And my target buck go away. Here is the video of that story in real time. So I ended up not shooting at the does because it was early in the season and I didn't want to blow this spot out any more than I just have. But sadly, that was the last time I saw G2. That was the last time I got a picture of him in this area. And I hope he comes back next year because if he was so impressive with like a 14-inch G2, next year he'll be even better of probably maybe a 10 because he was an 8 this year, but he'll be he'll be a really nice 8. I hope he comes back. I did end up getting one picture of him at the end of rifle season over by the stand he originally was picked up on, the one I was saying that they tend to hit there early and then when pressure comes in, they vacate the area. But he came back once at night, so I'm hoping, he didn't leave the whole mountain, but we're taking it for there. And this is my awesome hunting tale. Again, sometimes, it's about the hunt and not about getting the deer all the time. So, my plan was executed. The deer came in. I almost got 2 shots off at this deer. And I was pretty excited about it, and I wanted to share that with you. Tell me what you think. I know you see all these guys who post stuff, and it's always these monster deer, and they always walk away winners. But there are a lot of things that can go wrong that leave you empty-handed, especially during bow season. So much has to come together. And this is a tale where so much came together, but not everything. And that's what was the fail. But for me, I still consider it a win. All right, guys, thanks for watching. That's my tale. I'm going to work in some other video clips and stuff in there. Tell me what you think. Drop me a comment. Drop me a like. Really appreciate it. All right, ranchers. Happy hunting.